Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Monday, May 3rd, 2021, and in the headlines, Bill and Melinda Gates are ending their marriage, announcing they're being divorced today. And if you've read my book, Number Games, 9/11 to Coronavirus, I make a big claim in this book, and that is that Bill and Melinda Gates were married January 1st, 1994, which is the actual day they were married, with the planned ritual of the coronavirus pandemic on March 11th, 2020. So I'm going to show you how their divorce is perfectly synced with March 11th, 2020. And again, I just like to know where my critics are at. I'd love to, in all the years I've been doing this, I've seen a lot of idiots say, your work is stupid, even though we continue to call everything correctly before it happens and prove our point day after day. But I'd like to see anyone criticize this research right here. So, as I also claim in the book, Bill and Melinda Gates are Catholic Jesuit pawns. That's another claim that I make in the same book, that they are Catholic Jesuit pawns, and their entire marriage is arranged and perfectly synced with the planned pandemic. They were married all those years in advance with a perfect plan. Now, notice today's March 5th. The majority of the world writes today 3/5 like 35. Huge number with the Catholic Church. The first ever Catholic president in this country was JFK, number 35. Bill has the 35 connection. We talked about this the day his father died, September 14th, 14/9 like 149, the 35th prime. Today can also be written 5/3 like 53. 53 is the 16th prime. Gates equals 16. But here's the thing. From Bill's birthday, October 28th, to today, May 3rd, is 187 days later. It's also 6 months and 5 days, which has everything to do with their arranged marriage number. But let's start with the 187. Again, that's the number of the Jesuits. Two big numbers with the Jesuits, and this is all explained in the book. There's nothing new here that's not in the book. Two big numbers with the Jesuits are 56 and 187. His wife, Melinda, is 56 years old right now. And what day is her birthday? The same birthday as the Jesuits. And what's Bill Gates doing in the world right now? Building Jesuit high schools all over. And the Jesuits are the Society of Jesus. But 187 days after his birthday, he's getting divorced from his 56-year-old wife. Don't forget, he's Mr. 201, one of the co-sponsors of the Event 201 Coronavirus Pandemic Simulation of October 18th, 2019, on the same day the Military World Games began in Wuhan, China, which were Military World Games that were created by the Jesuits in 95 in Rome, because the Jesuits were created by Rome to counter the 95 Theses. But notice, William Henry Gates, the Jesuit order, same Gematria, Event 201 was the coronavirus pandemic simulation. If you've read my book, you know how big 201 is with the Jesuits. Since I finished my book, we have a million more 201 examples to add on, including this year's Kentucky Derby again, where, again, having the knowledge is very lucrative. Also, do not forget that the calendar that we're on and the language we speak, English, both credited to the Catholic Church. And I just want you to see that the word marriage, which has a religious, foundation, marriage and Jesuit order, I just want you to see the similarity. They both equal 54, 72, and 144. And I'll get more to what I think about the symbolism of them getting this divorce. But first, I just want to hit this piece. And again, Melinda Gates' birthday is August 15th. She's 56 years old. The Jesuits were born in Paris, France, which equals 56, like Society of Jesus, on August 15th, 1534. Don't forget Bill and Melinda. Their birthdays are 74 days apart. Bill and Melinda Gates equals 74. We're talking about how they're pawns of the Society of Jesus. Jesus, cross, Messiah, parables, gospel, they're all 74. The gospel's the story of Jesus. He spoke in parables, because it is a riddle. Jewish is 74. Jesus was Jewish, Hebrew, from the land of Judea, even though J's didn't exist. Neither did English back then. But all these words are 74 is the point. Jesus, cross, Messiah, parables, gospel, Jewish, Masonic, occult, English, Gematria. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. Comes from Jewish mysticism, which equals 201, like how the Jesuits were created by Jews who converted to Catholicism. But anyway, all these 74s, And don't forget, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is directly across the street from the 74-acre Seattle Center, home to the world's biggest needle. And again, Bill Gates is Mr. Needle, who has the same birthday as Jonas Salk, who's Mr. Polio Vaccine. Don't forget, on Jonas Salk's 42nd birthday, which was Bill Gates' first birthday, Elvis got the vaccine on live TV exactly 42 weeks after his own birthday, and vaccine and Jesuit both equal 42, like the 42 generations to Jesus to begin the gospel. When you write out 42 as a word, it also equals 74. But again, just all these big coincidences. And again, this is why I've been saying that they are Jesuit pawns, because their whole lives are like this with the same numerical rituals over and over. But again, just moving on. They were married for 27 years. 27 years. They were married January 1st, 94. It's 2021. 27 years later. Ritual equals 27 forwards, 45 in reverse. Marriage is 45. And from the day the pandemic was declared, March 11th, 2020 to May 3rd, 2021, span of 419 days. It's the 419th day of the pandemic. That's the 81st prime. We call 81 the ritual number. With the alphabetic order, ritual's 81. With the alphabetic order and rules numerology, ritual's 27. They're married for 27 years. With the reverse alphabetic order, ritual's 81. With the reverse alphabetic order and rules numerology, ritual's 45. So you see how this works? The marriage ritual, 27 years, 419th day of the pandemic. Here, the reason I said that their marriage was arranged, just to get to the short of it, is you see how pandemic is 65 and 38? Again, these are the original ciphers that we've studied the longest. All of the ciphers matter, but pandemic 65 and 38. Bill and Melinda Gates were married January 1st, 94, 65 days after Bill Gates' 38th birthday. Okay? And that's not all, but that's a big part of it. And don't forget, they confirmed the first case of coronavirus outside of mainland China in Seattle, Washington on January 21st, which was the day Donald Trump, the Jesuit, was at the World Economic Forum gloating about his trade deal with China. That was on January 15th, and the official story was that coronavirus arrived in the U.S. January 15th in Seattle and then was confirmed on January 21st. Which was the Donald Trump China trade deal date and the day he was in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, who was the main sponsor of Event 201, gloating about his trade deal. Again, all of these people are Jesuit frauds, Jesuit puppets, from Joe Biden to Donald Trump to Bill Gates, and they're all big players in this pandemic. Trump was all about Operation Warp Speed, declaring the national emergency, going along with the whole by-the-numbers diagnosis, Joe Biden, obviously, Mr. Mask, Mr. blah, blah, huge supporter of what's going on, which is straight tyranny. And then you have Bill Gates, the biggest face of all of the tyranny. But, again, you just couldn't get more ritualistic. And here I've made the argument, and there's more to it, but I've made the argument right here in my book that Bill and Melinda Gates' marriage is a big farce and all part of the big theater that is the television, that is the mainstream media, where they do these planned numerical rituals. And again, I answer why on page 1 of both my books. That's why I hate that people are always asking, why do they do this? It's page 1 of both books I've ever written. Page 1, books that I always tell you guys you should read, but you guys are too lazy. You don't have time to read. You only have your money for McDonald's and big corporations that rule over us and screw us in the ass every day. You got all your money for them, but you can't go out and support an underpriced book packed full of life-changing knowledge that could help you cash in, in sports championships, Kentucky derbies, and in things that are bigger than that. Understanding that the world is bullshit and don't invest your time and energy in it. But anyway, everything in the book, both books I wrote, everything I wrote in both books has just been backed up more and more and more and more and more every single day. You couldn't read a single page of either of my books and disprove a word of it, because there's only been 1,000 more examples for every word written to prove it that much further. So, again, you just couldn't get more ritualistic than this today, And with regards to their whole marriage being synced up with the COVID pandemic, today's May 3rd, right? 5-3, COVID's 53 forwards, 82 in reverse. Remember, it first showed up in Seattle, where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is, where all the companies are that made the biggest profits off the pandemic, big coincidence. From Amazon to Costco. But COVID in reverse is 82 like Seattle, the Seattle couple. Again, Bill and Melinda Gates, 74 forwards, 115 in reverse. Remember, COVID showed up in the U.S. on January 15th. The date can be written 1/15 like 115, or 15, or how would that be? 15/1 like 151, like Pandemic's 151. And again, it was confirmed on January 21st, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 121, and shortly after that, they talked about how they were already testing for the vaccine with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they're working with Moderna, which Gates was invested in. And that's when we put out early in the year, we said, watch, the Moderna vaccine's going to blow up, and watch for it on May 7th. That was the day it really took off. May 7th, their stock shot way up that day. It was already going up, but then it shot way up on May 7th, the exact date we called out. And the reason why was simple. Vaccine is 57. Bill Gates is 57. So by understanding that, we said watch for their stock to shoot way up on May 7th. Well, it did, because it became the first vaccine approved by the FDA for phase 2 testing. And a lot of people made a lot of money. Again, this knowledge pays dividends and allows you to escape the matrix of bullshit and not be under the mind control of the people that operate this way, who do this because of Kabbalah. That's why they do it, because it's their belief system. See, you're not supposed to know about that. Every dummy has the same response, too. I just hate the dummies. The dummies are all the same. They're like program robots. Well, if it's so easy, then why would they do this if they could just get figured out? Listen, dummy, if yours truly did not exist in the world, nobody would know about any of this. That's a fact, okay? That is a fact, because nobody else was teaching about it. Nobody else figured it out and taught about it. The only people who knew about this were the people that are part of this, which is a very exclusive club, obviously. You know? The same dummies have the same dumb questions. Do you know why I figured this out? Because I researched from the time of 9/11 until 2013 when I finally figured it out. How many people in the world would research for over a decade until they found the answer to what they were looking for? I have qualities most people don't have. I can work way harder than anybody I know. I'm more persistent. I'm not smarter than everybody I know, but 99.9% of people I've ever met, yes. Again, there's a reason I figured it out, and most people hadn't. And in fact, think about how many billions of people walk this earth who never figured it out. A lot. So, again, dummies don't know how to give credit. Dummies don't know how to recognize the truth. Dummies will be dummies, and it's at least 90% of humanity. But anyway, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the whole pandemic synced up with them. All this is written about in the book. They're like the centerpiece of this, and they're destroying society, and they're breaking apart society. You know, they have these planned rituals because they want to destroy humanity. And this has been going on for a long time, and it's bigger than Bill and Melinda Gates. But even them getting a divorce is symbolic of this. You know, they make everyone put a mask on. They tell everyone to be afraid of everyone, even their own family, social distance in your own house. At one point, they were advising that people wear masks in their own house. I mean, my sister took up this kind of guidance with her own family. Got them all depressed and hating each other. But again, another great example. Now here they are, the great leaders of the world that are telling you everything you should be doing with your life. Bill Gates now telling us what to do with the skies, with the food, with the vaccines, with everything. But he can't even manage his own household. He's getting a divorce. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it'll make a lot of people think, well, man, here's how the dummies will think, though. Wow, Bill Gates is so smart, and I've been trying to keep my relationship together because when you get married, you do vows, and you're supposed to stay together until death do us part, unless that wasn't part of your vows, but it's part of almost everybody's vows. But man, maybe I shouldn't hold it together because Bill Gates didn't hold it together. I guarantee you there's all sorts of dummies that will think just like that today. That's how they live through the world. They live vicariously through other people. That's why they're all into movie stars and sports games. They can't do anything themselves, so they live through the TV screen and their favorite celebrities. Their excitement's their excitement, you know? I've never been this way, but it's obvious this is the majority of people in the world. They'd rather watch the TV. They'd rather, build up their video game character rather than their own body, their own mind, their own knowledge, their own health, But here it is, Bill's big tweet today. After a great deal of thought and a lot of work on our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage over the last 27 years, and we have raised 3 incredible children who we all just used as pawns in our ongoing vaccine scheme. Okay, I don't want to read any more of his post, but it is dated today, May 3rd, 2021. He did post it at 1:30 p.m., and a part of me even wonders about that, because if you read out Washington, today it has 49 date numerology, but 130's a bit like Washington, and then 49, and again, they're the Washington state couple. So they're getting divorced on the 49 date numerology. Bill's posting at 130. But here's what else I want to go over. Again, Bill Gates' decade of vaccines, and just tied in further with his whole fake marriage. Again, Bill Gates' decade of vaccines was declared January 29th, 2010 in Davos, Switzerland. So on the 29th day of the year, which is the 10th prime number in the year 10, and he's born in 55, which is the 10th triangular number and the 10th Fibonacci number. But again, a decade's 10 years, so on the 29th, the 10th prime, in Davos 29, he pledges this decade of vaccines, and this is January 2010, 10 years before January 2020, when coronavirus shows up in his backyard, and what he wanted was in 10 years, there to be a push to vaccinate all the people of the world, especially the children. That's what he wanted. So he got his wish. 10 years later, when coronavirus coincidentally showed up on the perfect date for a pandemic in his backyard, on the same day that Trump, who called it the China virus, signed off on the big trade deal with China. But anyway, look at this. It was Bill Gates' 94th day of his age, right? Him and Melinda Gates were married January 1st, 94, the Seattle couple. Notice Seattle, Washington, and Davos, Switzerland are both 94. And you see how Davos and Seattle are the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers? Coronavirus pandemic's also 94. His dad was 94 until he died while the pandemic was going on. His dad turned 94 November 2019, the same month that the coronavirus pandemic began in China. You know, about 4 months before it was declared by the World Health Organization. You could say the outbreak instead of pandemic in China. But he turned 94 the same month it began in China. And again, Bill and Melinda married January 1st, 94, from Bill's 38th birthday to January 1st, 94, 65 days later, he turned 38 years old, October 28th, 93. From that day to the marriage, 65 days after his 38th birthday. And again, pandemic's got that gematria of 65 and 38, you see? And we were just talking about how with the divorce, you know, the 6 months and 5 days, where did it go? From his birthday to the divorce, 6 months, 5 days, right? Like 65. 65 again, the same number we keep pointing out. And Bill Gates had the time cover on June 5th, a date that could be written 6-5 or 5-6, but it said Master of the Universe, June 5th, 95. Right there. Master of the Universe, Bill Gates. And 95, again, that's the Jesuits. They were recognized by Rome on the day, leaving 95 days left in the year to counter the 95 Theses. And Event 201, in the Event 201 coronavirus pandemic simulation, 65 million people die, and they did that on Melinda Gates' 65th day of her age. What a big coincidence. And then again, the pandemic just happens to land in their backyard. And realize, for putting out this kind of content, you know, the big tech companies have been taking down my videos for medical misinformation. The exact same kind of content I'm giving you right now. I'm not talking about medical. I'm talking about the way these people operate, how they control us with their lies and their schemes in the media and with government and big business and big tech. Same things I'm exposing over the years. But now they want to call it medical misinformation because I'm talking about the pandemic, which only certain people are allowed to talk about, like Bill Gates, who's obviously such a trustworthy person. Just ask all the businesses and business people that he swindled out of their own businesses. They say that he was a criminal mastermind, comes from a family of bankers and you-know-whos, and he was real good at writing contracts and screwing over the people that he worked with. Yeah, let's take Bill Gates' advice on what we should do with our skies and our food and our bodies. Bill Gates, who's only ever cared about money. Oh, but he's into vaccines now. Yeah, did you know he's become worth 3 times as much in the time he's been in vaccines? If I remember right, he was worth 30-some billion when he got done with big tech. In the time of vaccines, his net worth was up to $132 billion. We covered that months ago. On the same, it was the same day. It was January 7th of this year. Elon Musk became the richest man in the world on the 78-year anniversary of the death of Nikola Tesla. And on that same day, they said Bill Gates was worth $132 billion. In other words, Bill Gates has become roughly worth $100 billion more in the time he's been Mr. Vaccine, Mr. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Wow. Looks like he's not in it for the money, you guys. He only cares about the well-being of people. And again, the way he, had his daughter get the vaccine by the numbers, if that's even real, just makes you wonder. He might even see his own daughter as a commodity. So, but here, the decade of vaccines, remember the name of that, decade of vaccines, 65 and 313. And what's 313? It's the 65th prime number. Now, what year did the vaccines go live in 2020? Or when did they go live? They went live right after Bill Gates turned 65. In fact, they went live December 4th in Coventry in the UK. Look at this. I remember this like it's yesterday. Bill Gates' birthday is October 28th, the same as Jonas Salk's. The vaccines went live, or hold on. I did say I remember it like it's yesterday, and I'm like, wait a minute. Was this the day they were approved, or is this the day they went live? Here, we'll find out right now. Wait a minute. No. I'm screwed. Okay, they were approved that day in the UK, December 4th. I see what it is. The day they went live in Coventry, where I forget the woman's name, but the first man to get the vaccine was William Shakespeare. But look at this. From Bill Gates' birthday to the day the vaccine went live, not when it was approved, December 8th, his 42nd day of his age. And again, vaccine has that 42, just like how Elvis got the vaccine on live TV October 28th, 1956, on Jonas Salk's 42nd birthday, on Bill Gates' first birthday, and exactly 42 weeks after Elvis' birthday, who'd go on to die at age 42. And don't forget, birthday has that Gematria 42 as well. Yesterday, Bush in NASCAR on his birthday won the McBushy Bush as another NASCAR driver died at age 42. Birthday ritual. But, again, Bill Gates was 65 years old when the vaccine went live, and not only was he 65, but like I write about in my book, it's all about 65 and 42 with Bill Gates and the vaccines. I mean, come on. And then this came out before the vaccine went live. But then on his 42nd day of being 65, I mean, that's why anybody who reads this book and says this is dumb, especially at this point, I mean, you just know definitively that person is fundamentally retarded. Truly, in every sense of the word, they're stunted. They're so stupid, they can't see the truth when it's recorded in undeniable fashion on pages of a book. And then, after the book comes out, you can continue to witness what happens, and it's the same patterns, the same numbers. Again, it's amazing how stupid people are to continue to debate against us when we continue to call literally everything correct year after year. Like, it's never been done before. I'm sorry, Nostradamus who? Who? Nostradamus who? I've never even heard. People are always trying to say Nostradamus called this, and then you look at it and you're like, I don't know. That's pretty weak. It's pretty weak. I don't know what this whole Nostradamus thing is. That's really? That means he called it because he said that? Okay, that's pretty vague. Sorry, we call very specific things. Dates, championships, news stories, what this will be, that'll be, this will be. By the numbers, and then the same numbers hit. This is a whole new level of predicting things. You know? This is a way where the prediction can hit, and then you can watch for the next year, all the rest of your life, and watch how the same things keep hitting. You're like, okay, that wasn't a coincidence. That's what they're doing. You got to be retarded to not. In fact, you had to be retarded on 9/11 to not figure out that these people were numerologists. I knew it right then. I didn't even know anything about numerology, but I was like, okay, come on, national emergency on 911. What else do I need to know about numbers? Took me a long time to figure out the answer to that. So, by the way, decade of vaccines, also 88, like poison, like purple. Think about how much purple you've seen with the vaccines on TV, the vaccine lids, especially from Pfizer, who's killed more people with their medicine than any other company in the world. How about the 119? That's like the abbreviation for arsenic, AS119, arsenic that's been used to poison people all throughout history. And I'm not saying that arsenic's in the vaccines, but I am saying look into things like Bill Gates' TED Talk from 2010, how the movie Inferno came out on Bill Gates' birthday, the one starring Tom Hanks, the first celebrity to get the virus by the numbers, and who tweeted or did his Instagram post about playing gin rummy with his wife and being down 201 points when he's in the 2-hour and 1-minute movie Inferno that came out on Bill Gates' birthday in 2016 about a billionaire wanting to depopulate the world with a virus and a vaccine. That movie came out 6 years after Bill Gates did his 2010 TED Talk about why we need to reduce population and how we can do it with vaccines. Exactly what he said in his own words. If Google would ever take that down for misinformation, they're full of shit. You can still watch Bill Gates' 2010 TED Talk and hear him say it in his own words. He says we need to reduce population to get down carbon emissions, and he says we can do it with vaccines. It's exactly what he says. By the way, Switzerland, where this whole thing comes out of, is another 65. And again, just Event 201. Let me see. Is there anything in here? Oh, yeah, the whole Gavi thing. Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the official name of Bill Gates' Alliance Foundation, 129. He declared his decade of vaccines on January 29th. Synagogue 129. If you missed the video I just did on the burning of the synagogues in New York in 129, you should go back and check that out on the 129th day of the Jesuit Pope's age. Synagogue's 114 forward. It happened on the 114th day of the year, on a Saturday, the Jewish day of worship. Again, there's another synagogue, the synagogue of Satan from the Bible, reminding of what Bill Gates is and that he's born in 55, like the Gematria of Satan, where they did the big Satan tribute in Super Bowl 55, having The Weeknd perform and come down like a fallen angel, which equals 55. The man who flashes Satan on the billboards of his concert. But yeah, the other thing with Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, is it has the same gematria as the shortened name Gavi Alliance, and also William Henry Gates and Corona, and the divisors of 42 sum to 96. But notice Bill Gates declared his Vaccine Alliance on July 12th, 1999 in Seattle. And that day was his 258th day of his age. William Henry Gates, 258. Number of the Beast, 258. Vaccination, 666. His Clade X simulation was exactly 666 days before the pandemic was declared. And again, all this stuff's in the book that I'm telling you right now. All of this is in the book. And then the book was written. The book came out like at the beginning of September when it finally got printed and was ready to distribute. And as I was shipping off the first copies of the book, people were getting their books in the mail, and Bill Gates' father was dead on the 258th day of the year. And I'd already written about Bill Gates and 258. And again, here's that right here. Bill Gates Sr., he died on the 64-44 date that we always watch for. He fell on one of those dates. 44 connects with Seattle, the Seattle family. But September 14th, 2020 was a leap year, so he died on the 258th day of the year. And again, Bill Gates established Gavi, his Vaccine Alliance, and realized this was right before the vaccines went live that he's invested in as his net wealth increases. But from his birthday to the day they did that was 322 days later. And remember, Skull and Bones equals 149, like September 14th can be written 14/9. And they identify by the number 322. This year on March 22nd, 322, you had the King Super shooting. King Super's 149. Again, just the same patterns, same numbers coming together as we've documented so many times. But remember, the Knights Templar, well, Skull and Bones at Yale is what they get their symbolism from the Knights Templar, who served the Catholic Church like the Jesuits, and the Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. So Skull and Bones, Jesuits, Catholic Church, all roads lead to Rome. It's all connected. And I'm going to make a point of that because look at what's up here on the front page. You got the Skull and Bones member, George W. Bush, saying, Bush says if GOP stands for white Anglo-Saxon Protestantism, then it's not going to win anything. The Protestant movement was against the Catholic Church, you guys. Today's 3-5, right? Catholic 35. I mean, this doesn't this seem like an awkward quote? And what have I been saying? It's all explained in here. The Knights Templar are Yale Skull and Bones, which are Catholic related. The Jesuits pretty much are the continuation of the Knights Templar, and they serve the Catholic Church and the Pope. It's all clearly connected. So here you have this guy whose dad just died in a Skull and Bones ritual, and then you have the Skull and Bones members front and center, and then who's to the left of that? You got the puppet the Jesuit puppet, Donald Trump, right there. Remember, Donald Trump's Jesuit education began in 1964 at Fordham, 56 years before 2020, where coronavirus, Society of Jesus, Anthony Fauci, and a million more things equal 56. You got Cuomo in New York, the 56th governor at the same time, who also went to Fordham, Jesuit educated. You got Mr. Gavin Newsom, Mr. 56, and just so much more, you know. But on 3-5, look at the stories. The Jesuit pawns, the Skull and Bones pawns, all serving the Catholic Church that rules the nation. So obvious. You got to be brain dead. And just like I was pointing out then, 149 is the 35th prime, Bill 35. Kill and Bill also have the 28. Remember the Kill Bill movie? Because the day his dad died had 28 numerology as well, and he was senior. And remember Bill Belichick's dad was dead in the news at the same time? And then that was right before like the Patriots and Seahawks played each other. And the game ended at the 1-yard line where the new black quarterback on the Patriots couldn't get into the end zone at the end of the game, like Russell Wilson threw the interception against the Patriots at the 1-yard line on February 1st, whatever year that was. I think it was 2015. Again, it's just all mockery, you guys. Bill Belichick's dad dies as Bill Gates' dad dies. The coach, Pete Carroll in Seattle, used to coach the Patriots. Again, all this stuff at the same time. That's what we were talking about back then. Brady ends up winning the Super Bowl in a big 201 Jesuit Knights Templar ritual. And there's a death at Yale the night before in Goatville before the goat ritual. You don't see how all of these guys are the chosen players on the world stage? From Bill Gates to Bill Belichick to Donald Trump to Joe Biden, to Tom Brady. These are all actors on the world stage. That's why everybody knows their names. Same group controls them all. They're all doing the same numerical rituals. How many more times we got to explain it? Oh, yeah, by the way, his business partner, Anthony Fauci, from his birthday to the death was 266 days. The Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, 266. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, the 266th, who spoke in D.C., the Jesuit city, on the 266th day of the year, September 23rd, 2015. It's also 38 weeks, the death number, but, Fauci and Bill Sr. and Bill Jr., they're all business partners. They're all profiting off all this together. Also, when you write out Bill Gates Sr., just another, as you see, 6894, like Seattle, Washington, like Davos, Switzerland, like coronavirus coined in 68. That was the year Bill Gates had his bar mitzvah. He turned 13 that year. Okay. Oh, yeah, and then he also died on Margaret Sanger's birthday, and she's one of the other, planners of Planned Parenthood, just like Bill Gates Sr. They didn't die on the same day. He died on her birthday. That's what it was. He died on her birthday. Okay. So what else is in the news here? Bruce, now known as Caitlyn Jenner, says people born as boys should not compete as people born as girls. So he's saying, boys who become women through the transgender process shouldn't be able to compete against women. And he says this on May 2nd, and he's getting criticism for this. He's being criticized. You have people in the news right now going on TV and articles being written about their words saying that there's no competitive advantage between a woman and a man physically, and they should be able to compete with each other. And I'm just thinking, okay. Did this person go to high school? Because when I was in high school, I remember, the cute, skinny girls on the sidelines and the strong dudes on the football field. And again, you throw one of those skinny, cute girls on the football field and she gets tackled, it's not going to look pretty. So you could make the argument, well, there were some skinny, scrawny boys there. Yeah, there were. There were. And what's your point? Put out a big, husky woman out there, and what, she's not going to get smashed by the guy who runs faster, is bigger, stronger, has more muscle mass than her? Are you serious? Again, this is a joke. Everything is such a joke right now, you guys. And again, it just reminds that all the media does is feed people more and more bullshit, and it's like the threshold grows bigger every year. Now they can tell you that women have the same physical attributes as guys. No, they don't. I'm sorry. We're not built the same way. I mean, this isn't even a conversation. This is a joke. But notice that he did this on May 2nd, 5-2, right? He speaks in a way that's seen as almost like, oh my God, what a stereotypical white male thing to say, Caitlyn. But notice, Bruce Jenner's 52. This is the voice of Bruce Jenner, the man speaking on May 2nd, 5-2 with this headline. But again, I already covered Bruce Jenner and how he announced that he was Caitlyn 187 days from his birthday. Remember, I covered that months ago, and that's what got the channel taken down. Because then they gave me 2 strikes for 2 of the transgender videos I'd done that had been up for over a month. And there was nothing wrong with them. I was just showing it. What I was showing is, it looks to me like the Jesuits are behind the whole transgender thing, which makes so much sense because they're the divide and conquer game. Again, Caitlyn Jenner, 201. Really? You think that's a coincidence? In light of the way they code this number on the things they control? But again, 187 again. This news came 187 days from his birthday. And Society of Jesus, 187. Just like how we're talking about Bill Gates, announcing the marriage from his 56-year-old wife 187 days after his birthday. Is there somewhere where I can place a future on Bill Gates coming out as transgender? Because I am ready to place that bet, honestly. What are the odds on that right now? Probably only pays. You probably have to bet $100 to get a $10 payout. Probably not very good odds, but I feel like that headline's not too far off. Bill comes out. Could you? That would be a great. I don't know about Jeff. I don't know as much. Jeff might only be into aliens, but maybe that's the future couple. Bill in his new lady form and Jeff Bezos, the world's new richest couple. They could have Elon Musk as their pet dog, but I don't feel like you guys think I'm joking right now. I'm not joking. Like, I think that headline's coming. Oh, by the way, of course, Bill and Caitlyn have the same birthday too. How could I forget? And notice this comes while he's 71 years old and Catholic 71. Like how they had to they had to confirm the election for Catholic Joe on January 7th, 7-1. They called it for him 353 days after his birthday, the 71st prime. Again, the rituals. Let me see. I don't know if I can dare show this. YouTube already took it down for hate speech. Yeah, and there was no hate speech, just nothing but facts. Facts. Big tech hates the truth. Big tech's like who Jack Nicholson was talking to in A Few Good Men. Hold on. Where's it at? Let me make sure I got this right. All right, Bruce came out April 24, 2015, 187 days before his birthday at the time. So, Caitlyn, just like Jesuit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's that 56, 187 again. Yeah, I already did a presentation on that. There was nothing wrong. I wasn't rude. I didn't say anything mean. They took it down for hate speech. It's just like, you just can't even share anything. Why can't I ask the question if the Jesuits are behind the transgender push in the media? Somebody's obviously pushing it. They make it seem like every other person wants to be transgender in the news media. It's like that's how they want it to be. Okay. Bobby Unser, shout out to Chicozy. I saw him talking about this, so I had to do a decode on it. 3-time Indy 500 winner Bobby Unser dies at 87. And Number of the Beast got that 87 connection. But he died on May 2nd, 5-2. Indy 500's 52-25. That date can be written 5-2-25. That's the 122nd day of the year. Indianapolis Motor Speedway 122. CNN in their article shows a photo of him in 77. Unser 77. And his death was one day after another type of race, the big Kentucky Derby horse race, that was a huge 77 ritual. Bob Baffert, 77, won his 7th Kentucky Derby. And, of course, the man born in 77, Brady, was there, who won his 7th Super Bowl this year. And they saved the news of his death for today, the 123rd day of the year. Indianapolis 123 in reverse 201. We just had the college championship there on April 5th, 201 days before the winning coach's birthday, who went to college in Indianapolis at Butler. And also it was 201 days after Elgin Baylor's September 16th birthday, who died during the tournament in the Sweet 16, only for Baylor to go on and win by 16 in a game where Gonzaga clearly didn't even try to play. The Jesuit school, who was named after Ignatius de Gonzaga. Or it's not Ignatius. What is his first name? I lost it right now. Whatever Gonzaga's real name is equals 201. And notice also Bobby Unser's 123 and 147 forwards and backwards. They announce his death, the big winner at the Indianapolis 500 on the 123rd day of the year. Notice in the most simple cipher, Indianapolis and Bobby Unser 123. But when you run it in reverse, it's 147. And who just won the Kentucky Derby and the massive 7 ritual? Bob Baffert. It was the 147th Kentucky Derby, 147. And then the day after?
Oh, man, I think Zach's just cherry picking.
God, it's just like, when I listen to my critics, I think, God, an intelligent person's not supposed to have to listen to the words of retards. I mean, retards are supposed to be like a shooting gallery, you know? I'm sorry, guys, they are. I mean, these people just don't need to exist. 90% of humanity does not need to exist right now. They are dead weight, pulling us all to the bottom who are fucking retarded. They'd say that I'm cherry picking. Oh, really? A man's name who equals 123 and 147 is announced dead on the 123rd day of the year, and supposedly he died the day after the 147th Kentucky Derby when it's all about racing and rituals. He died on 5/2, you guys. And racing is 52. You know, to add to that, horse race is 52 as well. And the winning jockey who won last year on September 5th because it got moved and won this year, he won 239 days apart, the 52nd prime. But horse race 52, racing 52. You know, Indy, right? Indy 500. Indy's got that 56 like 3. He won it 3 times. The Abrahamic religions, the 3 Abrahamic religions. Abrahamic's 56. You see the 187? How many chapters in the Torah that make up the Abrahamic religions? 187. Again, what society of Jesus? 56 and 187. Who coded out the language and the calendar in tribute to what's in the Bible? The Jesuits did. Who were what? Jewish. Isn't it interesting how the Jesuits, when you think about it, they are the Bible because they're Jewish and they're Catholic, which is essentially a form of Christianity. But they represent what the Bible is. They got everything encoded in the Bible. But all these perfect rituals, all these same patterns we're talking about after we just win, people are still doubting again. It's like, shit, man, you just watched us win the Masters and the Derby again? And you're still doubting? Oh my God. Become fertilizer, please. We don't need you. We don't need you. In fact, it's not that we don't need you. It's not that. It's that you're killing us. You are killing us. 90% of the world, hear me now. Your pathetic gene pool with your low IQ and your ugly looks and your stupidity and your helplessness and your hopelessness, you are a detriment to humanity because you don't have any value. All you do is drag us to the bottom. You're a lazy, worthless fuck. You don't read. You don't do any research. You don't know shit about shit. All you know how to do is jerk off, put food in your mouth, and watch the TV and flip through the channels. That's the extent of your life. There's no point in your life. You're not helpful to anything. All you are is a useful idiot cattle for the Illuminati, which are the Jesuit order that rule over us. And yes, they are. Again, the Jesuits. Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit, created the Order of Illuminati on May 1st, 1776, which Baffert just won the Derby on, having the only jockey coming into the day with 201 races for the year, and they call the thing the Run for the Roses, you know. And then he surpassed the trainer, who died on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, which was also the 164th day of the year, meaning he was a ritual sacrifice. Nick Saban went from 6 to 7, passing Bear Bryant, who died by the numbers. Remember, Bear Bryant died January 26th, the 26th day of the year. Then Kobe Bryant died on the 37-year anniversary of his death. He was considered the greatest football coach ever. Football's 83, next to Lombardi, who went to the Jesuit school for him. But now you have, again, Bob Baffert passing a trainer who was considered the greatest ever at the Kentucky Derby, going from 6 to 7, passing him in the same year Saban goes to 7. And you know what? Bob Baffert, so Saban got his 7th championship on the 11th day of this year. Bob Baffert got it on the 121st day of the year, 110 days later in Kentucky. See how all this is synced, you guys? It's not an accident. This is not an accident. They had Brooklyn Strong running next to Like the King in posts 2 and 3. And the night before, King James comes back 41 days after his fake injury. only to lose to the Kings 106-110, which are numbers of prophecy like we talk about every year with LeBron, which I have a chapter on in my first book. But again, the night before the Kentucky Derby, LeBron goes down in a ritualistic game with a score that's in tribute to the Derby the next day, right after the Kentucky Wildcat, Terrence Clark. I wrote Kentucky Clark. Whoops. Kentucky Wildcats, which is another 201. Remember, the Kentucky basketball player Terrence Clark died right after signing with LeBron's Clutch Ports days before the Kentucky Derby, where like the Kings running next to Brooklyn Strong, which will be your NBA Finals matchup, reminding that LeBron was born 201 days after the 1984 NBA Finals. Again, 201 days after the 84 Finals, LeBron's born. Again, because he's born like a thoroughbred horse, just like how they birth these horses by the numbers for the planned rituals. Anyway, I'm getting off on all these different topics, but all this stuff, you guys, it's all script. It's all perfect script, paying tribute to the same numbers. Clayton Kershaw gets the big press in the World Series that he wins after his 201st strikeout. Tom Brady with 200 passing yards. March Madness, a big 201 ritual. You know, the Kentucky Derby, a big 201 ritual, just like it was last year. I'm sure there's a lot of years with Run for the Roses 201. But notice this, Bobby Unser also won his first Derby in 68, that infamous year, right? How many years ago was 68 from 2021? 53 years ago. What day did they announce his death? May 3rd, 5-3. Remember, today's the real Machiavelli's birthday. Some years back, they announced the death of Tupac's mother on this day. She'd really died May 2nd, just like Bobby Unser. Bobby Unser died May 2nd, but the news broke May 3rd. Machiavelli faked his death. Tupac, his alias Machiavelli. And that Machiavelli album, here, let me just show you. That Machiavelli album came out on the big Jesuit day. Remember the 5th of November, the day leaving 56 days left in the year 1996? And then Tupac died on September 13th. But look, that album came out 53 days after his birthday, right? And then it had Machiavelli on the cover for the first time, because normally it was Tupac or Tupac Shakur. But then the real Machiavelli born May 3rd. You see? That's how they do it, man. It's funny, it's 1 month and 23 days as well. It's interesting because it's like this right here. Indianapolis and Bobby Unser 123, and the news on the 123rd day of the year, May 3rd. Then Tupac's mother, all those years later, dies on May 3rd. It's either 2015 or 16. The news here. Let's just see. Afeni Shakur. Here, let's see. Was it 2016? It was 2016. She died May 2nd. The news broke May 3rd. Okay. She was born January 10th, 47. And then also in the news, again, you got the Catholic pawns here, Bush and Bill. And notice this today. George W. Bush. He's saying the GOP cannot act like a bunch of white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And it's just such a forced headline today on Catholic Day. The Protestant movement was against the Catholic Church. And today's 3-5 or 5-3, Catholic 35, religion 53. And from Bush's birthday to today, the day he does this is 43 weeks. I mean, are you kidding me? Remember, he became the 43rd president in Florida, where his brother Jeb was the 43rd governor. Florida's 43 like football. Remember, American football is credited to Walter Camp, who went to Yale, likely a member of Skull and Bones. Brady went down to Florida at age 43. He now plays for the team that's logo is very similar to the skull and crossbones of Skull and Bones at Yale. And you had the killing in Goatville the night before Brady gets the GOAT ritual, winning his 7th, and GOAT is 43. And GOAT stands for greatest of all time, which is 188, and Brady won the Super Bowl 188 days after his 43rd birthday. And when I made the video days before that I put out for free on Gematria FX Sports, showing that to help people out with the Black Rob soundtrack behind it, no, I did not know that Black Rob was ill and was about to die. I just thought his song, which was a big song in the early 2000s when Brady was becoming a quarterback, I thought it was a very fitting song to play. But again, just 43 weeks after his birthday, his daddy was the 43rd vice president. Him and his daddy were in Yale Skull and Bones and became presidents. Jeb was more retarded and was not. But still, he was the 43rd governor of Florida, Jeb, when his brother became the 43rd president in his state, where it was so obvious that the election was so rigged. And still dummies don't think elections are rigged. And you also have to be a dummy to like have a thought like, okay, the 2000 election was rigged, but maybe 2004 won't be. Maybe 2008 won't be. Maybe 2012 won't be. Maybe 2016 won't be. Maybe 2020 won't be. You got to be retarded. And that is the reality. Almost everyone is. So that's why they still don't know what they should know. But again, these people are ritualistic. They do everything by the numbers. It's probably not even an accident that it's 9 months and 27 days. That's like September 27th, which is the day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome. Because again, Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from the Knights Templar. The Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. They all serve the Catholic Church. Couldn't be any more obvious. I mean, it just couldn't be more obvious. I explain all this stuff in the book already. I bring all this stuff together. And now on this day, you get this headline. And don't forget, the Jesuits recognized by Rome on the day leaving 95 days left in the year to counter the 95 Theses. The military world games began in Rome in 95. They were started by the Jesuits, who see themselves as a military order. On the day the military world games began in 2019 in Wuhan, China, that's the day the coronavirus pandemic simulation began, event 201, where 201 is that big old number of the Jesuits. Ignatius of Loyola's 201, the founder of the Jesuits. Jorge Mario Bergoglio's 201, who's Pope Francis, the first ever Jesuit Pope, who lives in Suite 201 at the Vatican, known as the Domus Sancte Marte. And again, I do this almost every day. It's all in the book. But it's just so obvious that these are all Jesuit rituals. And oh yeah, by the way, Martin Luther King Jr., who assumed the name Martin Luther in tribute to the Protestant Reformation later, he was killed on April 4th, 68, the 95th day of the leap year, 3 days before the Club of Rome was started. So, anyway, Bill and Melinda Gates are ending their marriage, but just understand they never really were married. It's for TV. This is the end of their for TV marriage, which is the fake world of information that becomes people's reality because they choose to believe in it because they believe in authority. Authority is their religion. So when they turn on the TV, they're tuning into their religious authority. And again, they're making the choice. They're allowing this to be their religious authority. And you have to be an idiot because all the news media has ever done to them for all their life is lied to them, but they still believe in it. And again, it's the most pathetic religion. There's no more pathetic religion than authority and news media and government. It's worse than all the other religions because you actually get to see it and you see how bad it is. It's just like, why would you make that your religion? They're just wrong about everything. But people have made authority their religion. And again, so when you tune into the fake make-believe, you think Bill and Melinda Gates are married, but all this is an arranged marriage, and it just shows you how planned out it is, this many years in advance. And like I said in the book, they were married 26 years before the pandemic because virus is 26, and so is China, you see, and so is plague. Not an accident. Not an accident at all. All right. I'm going to leave it there, Truth Seeker. The parallel I have in my life today is Sweet Lady is so mad at me today because she got on my nerves earlier. And normally even when Sweet Lady gets on my nerves, I just let her have her way. But today it irritated me more. So I gave her something back, which she did not like. But I think we'll be able to mend it and hold it together. But I was just thinking, I'm having some relationship drama today. And Bill and Melinda Gates are separated by the numbers. How amazing. So it reminds me when I had I organized the rally there in Seattle, March 13th, 2020. And that was the day Bill ended up stepping down from his Microsoft board position in his Berkshire Hathaway position. I was like, what are the odds of that? We're outside the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, raising awareness about this scumbag in Event 201, and he's stepping down from his board positions. So, weird. All right, we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Got to go be sweet to Sweet Lady. Till next time.